Hello, friend. Welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here. Today, we are talking about how to reprogram your subconscious mind to have you reach new levels of your business, ideally 7 figures and beyond. Now, you may be like a lot of my clients, the people I get to serve, you may already be at 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, maybe even 7 figures and looking to grow. But even if you're not yet, even if you're just starting out your business or you are at 5 figures, I want you to know that everything we're going to talk about today is the secret sauce. It is how I created a 7 figure business for the very first time 17 years ago. So I've been at multiple 7 figures for 17 years. I say that not so that, I don't know, not so that I can rub it in or show off or whatever it is, but I want to stretch your belief system. I want to stretch what you think might be possible for yourself. If little Fabienne 25 years ago, when she first started her business, knew that it was possible to be at 7 figures in her business with freedom, with 14 weeks of unplugged vacations per year, I wish I could go back in time and stretch little Fabienne's mindset. But this is actually not only possible, but it is probable and it is predictable when you go about growing your business in a certain way. So, my friend, as you're listening to this, please know that this is why I'm taking the time to record this podcast episode, is I want to have you see 7 figures or beyond as the new normal for you. And it's all about getting out of your own way. We're going to unpack everything that I did, everything that I do with the members of Bold Heart, everything I do with my private clients to go beyond the limiting beliefs, the self-image and identity that has you stuck, like I was in the past, has you stuck in a place where you're perhaps overworking or struggling, feeling challenged, not making the money you want to be making in your business, not seeing or saying yes to the opportunities that would get your reach and impact to a much bigger level. This is all about removing the sabotage, removing the things that are keeping you from taking bold and aligned action. I believe in this so much that I now see what I do. So let me actually take you back. When I first started being a business coach, I was teaching people the strategy. I had created the client attraction system, a series that eventually got to 10 steps. And, of course, over the years, much more. But I had created this 10-step client attraction system, and it was all about business strategy. And it's not until I started, believe it or not, I went into this mindset healing work through the gateway of macrobiotic eating and health and cooking. I'll take you way back to a macrobiotic conference that I went to in Massachusetts when I was in my late 20s, and I was still a holistic health counselor. Definitely not at 7 figures, even 6 figures, but I went to the Kushi Institute to learn about macrobiotic eating because I was offering health consultations to my clients. And I learned about manifestation and the law of attraction and energy and the subconscious mind. And honestly, friends, that's when I took a deep dive down the rabbit hole of all things healing. And I started to apply these things, the law of attraction and changing limiting beliefs and changing your identity, how you see yourself in the theater of your mind. I have read more books on the subject than anybody I know personally. And I started applying these things to my own business. over time, I switched to becoming a business coach. Baby Fabienne, the business coach, and you get 30 minutes a week, and you get 30 minutes a week. And as I was getting different results for myself based on the personal growth and development transformations I was experiencing, I started sharing these with other people, meaning my clients, and they started getting results beyond the strategy. And the more mindset work I did, and it worked, the more I shared it with my clients and it worked for them. And then, as you probably know, I started teaching this mindset transformation, limiting beliefs, identity, metaphysics, quantum field transformation over a 3-day period with hundreds of people in my ballrooms over the period of many, many years. And I'm reviving that in the next couple of months to help you get a mindset deep dive. And it has been this combination of soul level transformation and business strategy that has absolutely changed my life and the life of the people who choose to work with me. And I want to break it down for you today because as you are scaling your business, let's say you're at 6 figures, you're making 100, 125, 250,000 a year, as many of the people who follow me do, you will realize that strategy alone isn't enough. If it were really about strategy alone, you could read some books. And in fact, read my book. Although my book, The Leveraged Business, is a mindset book because everything we do at Bold Heart starts with the mindset first methodology. That's how I live my life. That's how I do business. That's how I coach, is mindset first methodology. So strategy alone is never going to be enough. You could go to AI, Chat GPT, get the whole thing, raise your rates, offer high ticket programs, hire. It's not going to be enough because your subconscious mind is actually what's driving all decisions. And if there are subconscious fears or limiting beliefs or past conditioning, even childhood trauma that are running the show, they will quietly hold you back from taking that bold, aligned action that you know is necessary to really expand your revenues, your reach, your impact, and really the quality of your life. So first and foremost, beyond stretching your belief and your thinking around the fact that multiple 7 figures, even more, is well within your reach, I want to make sure that you understand from today forward that the majority of your potential success lies in your subconscious mind. This is why everything I do at Bold Heart, all the real success I teach you, has to do with rewiring your mind to fully own your worth, to claim your space, to take bigger, bolder actions with ease and become more magnetically confident. This is all in the subconscious realm. You can go look for a strategic formula anywhere, but unless you have fertile soil, right? Fertile soil in which to plant these strategic seeds, they won't work. So just like if you were to take a seed and try to plant it in concrete, it wouldn't create a plant. So we've got to work on your fertile soil. So the work I want to talk to you about today is about helping you not just with your business strategy, although that is important, but to uncover and shift the unconscious patterns that are probably keeping you stuck so that you can rise into the next level of your business, of your clarity, of your power, that feminine power, your reach, your impact, the number of clients, how you pay yourself, your life's purpose. It's all tied into everything we're going to talk about today. So, step 1, we have to have you identify what is holding you back. This is about you getting super clear, taking some time, maybe even you open up a journal and listen to this again, or take the notes app of your phone and really reflect and write down your answers about some of these things that I want to share with you. I want you to think about what fears or doubts come up when you think about growing to $1 million a year in your business. What is it that comes up when you think of yourself being the owner of $1 million a year or a multiple $1 million pound or euro business a year? Do you have fears? Do you have doubts? Like, oh no, this isn't for me, it's for other people. I think back to myself 20 years ago. There is no way that version of Fabienne would ever think it's normal to have a multiple 7-figure business a year. Just write down your fears and your doubts. Why? Because these we can work on. I want you to think about raising your prices or offering high ticket programs. Is there resistance? Have you felt resistance before? Have you kept yourself from doing so, raising your prices or creating a VIP offer or just like a super high ticket program? Have you held yourself back from doing it? There was a time when I wanted to create a diamond level program, and everybody in my mastermind group, I was part of a mastermind, was saying, Fabienne, you have to charge $100,000 for this. And I went into complete freak out mode. Like, are you crazy? Crazy. 100,000 to work with me for a year. I just could not see it. And I was bargaining with them like, no, I could do it for like 50,000. And they were like, no, 100,000. I was like, I could do it for 80,000. They were like, no, 100,000. And consciously, I couldn't see myself charging that until I did some of the work that we are talking about today, and the work that the mindset work that I now take my clients through. And then I sold 3 $100,000 programs in 5 minutes. I went from no way in hell to about 3 or 4 months later, offering my programs from the stage and saying, this is growth and this is leverage. Oh, and I also have the diamond program, which is really all Fabienne all the time, but it's not for most of you. Most of you couldn't afford it. But if you want me in your life, practically 24/7, and price doesn't matter, because you're going to get at least a 4 to 10 times return on investment. Go back to my team at the back of the room and talk to them about talking with me about this. This is not for everybody. This is for you if you know you are this person. And 3 people signed up for my $100,000 program from basically saying what I just said to you now. It was all mindset work. And so it has to do with your belief system. It has to do with your comfort level with charging. It has to do with your fear of criticism or what people will think of you. All of these things either help you charge what you want to charge or keep you from charging what you want to charge. Now, obviously, my programs in Bold Heart are a lot less than this, much, much more affordable. But I want you to know that even if you want to keep your existing programs as they are, and you want to offer a VIP offer, you can. And if you have felt resistance, we get to work on removing those limiting beliefs and having you shift your identity so that you start seeing yourself as the person who can do that. I have a whole protocol, a healing process that I use on myself and the people who choose to work with me to do just that. Maybe for you, the thing that's getting in the way is self-sabotage that comes from a fear of visibility. And maybe this fear of visibility is because you were criticized as a child. Maybe, honestly, if we're going to be really transparent and authentic. Maybe you were abused as a child, verbally, mentally, physically, even sexually. This comes into play because if that is not healed on a subconscious level, you're not going to want to make yourself available visibility wise. I know this is kind of like pretty deep stuff we're talking about, but if there is a fear of visibility, you're not going to show up online. You're not going to want to speak on bigger stages. You're not necessarily going to want to own your expertise. You're going to probably want to shrink and hide behind your computer, right? All of these things can be healed easily at home on your own without having to feel to heal. It starts with understanding the root cause of what's preventing you from getting to that next big level, right? The patterns don't appear out of nowhere. Everything is shaped by your early experiences. So one of the things that I do with my clients and I've done with myself is to really look at what happened to me that caused this feeling that I didn't want to raise my rates or speak up or be seen, or was afraid of criticism, or it wasn't good enough, perfection paralysis. I had to go back to my childhood and look at the key turning points to be able to determine where I picked up a belief, where I picked up a fear. And without having to re-experience the whole thing, I could then look at where were those fears and beliefs still driving my business today or at that stage. When I teach mindset and overcoming the subconscious blocks to success, we look at the early programming that you experienced. Ideally, we look at what may have happened before the age of 7. What is it that you still remember that is still today a trigger? Something that happened, something you experienced that you created an identity around, or you created a fear or a belief that is still showing up today. Because those fears and doubts that happened not just before the age of 7, but the age of 10 and 12 and kept showing up, those are the things that are surfacing still today when you're thinking about growing to 7 figures or beyond, right? So I want you to ask yourself, what are those fears? What are those doubts? What are those beliefs? What are those perhaps some traumatic events that happened? And maybe it was just, you got bullied in middle school like I did. Maybe your parents divorced and you felt abandoned or whatever it is, like I was. Those things are still affecting you today unless you have fully processed them on a subconscious level. So if you have felt resistance to raising your prices, or there is perfection paralysis, where literally you should just put the thing out there, but you can't because it's not perfect enough, which is usually tied to fear of criticism, those things are getting in the way of you growing your business. So you can work on strategy till the cows come home. It's not going to work if deep inside on the subconscious level, you are stuck. And I just want to say that to overcome this thing that's keeping you stuck is actually very simple. It can happen in a day. It can happen in an hour. It can happen in 3 days. It can happen in a month of simple activities that don't take a lot of time, or seeing a practitioner once or twice. Like, I'm literally working with healers all the time. I worked with a healer this week, another one last week. I use my own protocol to self-healing because I'm preparing myself for that next big level. And I feel it. It is like right here under my nose. I can taste it. It's because I'm doing the work. And the work is actually simple and it's easy, but most people don't do it because they're not aware of everything we're talking about, you and I, today on this episode. And so Anything that's getting in the way, maybe you had a critical parent, maybe you had a perfectionistic mother, maybe you were told, like I was, that you were too much and concurrently not good enough. That can be very confusing, and all of that is still affecting you today in your business. So, you know, these things don't appear out of nowhere. They're shaped by what happened to us earlier. So, think about, maybe you were taught that success must come with sacrifice or struggle or working hard. I've worked with a lot of clients over the years who they either came from immigrant families or from a farm, believe it or not. And there is this respectable work ethic that says you have to struggle and sacrifice to work hard, but that's not the only way to succeed. Sacrificing and struggling is one way to succeed, but it's not the only way. So if you believe that, then you are going to overwork and sacrifice your personal life and sacrifice yourself to be successful. But there is another way. Maybe you grew up having to prove your worth to others by how much you work or how much you give. Well, guess what? You're going to have to overwork and overgive to feel like you are worthy in your business. That's not going to help you get to seven figures, multiple seven figures, and take many, many weeks of unplugged vacations. Maybe you were told to tone it down or to be nice, or, good girls don't do that, or that you were too much. And so you turn down your own light, you quiet yourself, you're not out there really sharing your message. Maybe for you, you witnessed stress in your family around money and anything financial. Maybe there was a lack of money. I've worked with some clients who grew up in poverty and they had deep fears around making money and that it was for other people and not for them. Maybe you have limiting beliefs around wealth and rich and successful people, and you were taught, maybe by watching some of the TV shows we watched when we were kids, that rich and successful people are greedy and nasty, and maybe your family talked about stuff like that. These are some examples, and it really only takes shifting one or two or three of these things for you to be able to implement the next big things in your business. Conversely, if you don't deal with these, they will prevent you from taking those next bold aligned steps, even if you have the strategy. So I always say to people, like, hey, listen, maybe programs you tried in the past didn't work and you're afraid to invest in yourself again, but those programs were just teaching you the strategy. They were not dealing with reprogramming your subconscious to easily attract seven figures. And so until those things are dealt with, they will continue to influence how you show up in your business today. This is why I spend so much of my time figuring out what the right modalities are, testing it on myself. I even teach my kids these things. This is about understanding that your subconscious mind is always listening. And if you want to break free from hesitation or self-doubt or playing small or hiding, you have got to rewrite the stories running beneath the surface of your business. This is where we get to rewire your beliefs, remove the fears, have you take big, bold, aligned action in a way that just feels natural, because all of that stuff under the surface is no longer sabotaging you. And when you work on these things, like honestly, I love working on my subconscious because it's the ultimate leverage. Like, you put a little bit of work on your subconscious mind and you get these incredible results. This is what I've been doing for more than 20 years in my business. when you work on your subconscious, when you reprogram your mind, you start hiring the right team members, right? And you start trusting yourself to delegate, and you start believing that you deserve the highest level support possible. And you stop tolerating bad support in your business, bad mentorship. You start being more magnetically confident when you speak, when you show up on socials. You start to charge more, but feel easy and worthy about it. Like you get what you're worth and you speak about it without guilt, without hesitation, without doubt. It's like you own your worth. And it's okay if somebody doesn't, you want to work with you at that price because you know that other people will and it doesn't affect your value as a person. When you work on your reprogramming your subconscious mind to 7 figures, you are okay being more visible. You show up more fully in your business without fear of judgment. And even if people will judge you, it just slides off your shoulders like water on a duck's back. You can move past perfection paralysis. You just understand that you can take action now without anything being perfect, without waiting for everything to be just right, without worrying that it's not good enough. You just put it out there. Yeah, maybe you update it later, but you feel confident and right enough with yourself that you're okay with however something is. There isn't that anxiety and that anxious energy about like, oh my God, what if it's not perfect? You just like, you know what? This is good enough. This is valuable. Let's put it out there. And for me, when I've done the work to overcome my parents' divorce as a trauma, my moving to a new country as a trauma, and learning English, and the bullying, and just so much stuff. When I've gone through all of that, I rest more easily in my body and in myself. And I trust my intuition in business. And I trust myself for making these bold aligned actions and decisions, not just in my business, but in my personal life too. As you probably know, I made a decision to move across the world. I live in France now and have been. This is my 9th year with my husband and my kids. And I trust my intuition and I trust my actions. And if I make a mistake, that's okay. I can always go back to what it was before. When you do the work, you don't worry so much about what people think of you. You don't worry about criticism and judgment. You free yourself from all this old programming that makes you fear being seen or what people will think. And so this isn't work you have to do. I look at it as work you get to do. Like I think about my own journey. I am so much happier with who I am now that I have worked on my subconscious mind. And new level, new devil. Like every time I want to move to a next level of my business or my reach or my impact or my quality of life, it invites a new level of personal growth and development. And I welcome it because I feel so much easier in my body. I feel so much more confident and happy. And I don't wish to be who I was before. And I love working on myself. And I invite you to fall in love with working on yourself too. Not that there's anything wrong with you. It's just for it to be even better. And so I just invite you to think about over the coming days and weeks, like what are the recurring negative thoughts or the fears that you notice when you think about taking bold action in your business or your life? And what if you didn't have that fear anymore? How would you show up differently in your business? And what would be possible if you didn't have that fear or those fears? What are the results that would show up if you showed up differently? What are the beliefs that you up until now have felt were real, but that you could probably rewrite? What new empowered beliefs would you like to have about money and success and your worth and what you're capable of? This is something I want you to think about over the coming weeks and months. Of course, I'm here to help you with these. If you wish to work on them with me, you'll let me know. You know where to find me. But in the end, scaling to 7 figures isn't just about more strategy. Yes, it is important. I teach strategy. It is important, but it's not the whole picture. And if perhaps your own evolution in your business and in what you pay yourself and what you generate as revenue has been less than what you wanted it to, it's probably because there is a misalignment between how you see yourself, what you believe, and your big dreams. And this is your invitation to shift into full alignment with your most powerful, confident, limitless self. When you understand this process that I'm talking to you about now, you realize that there is actually nothing that can get in the way of your big dreams and goals and visions except this programming that you picked up early on. And the good news, we can work on that. It's actually easy. And so your next level is simply requires that you think and believe and act differently. In my 3-day event, we call it VB, belief and action. And the more you commit to this inner work, the more effortlessly that success flows to you. I'm all about this. I love this. It is so powerful. I'm here if you need me with all my love and my belief in you. Thank you for showing up today. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.